we are back here, and now this is our final lecture. So this is going to be a longer one. I mean, most of my lectures are quite long. I apologize, but especially here in our final lecture, I need to teach you a lot of things and also the technical stuff regarding the baked lighting. Okay, so what I would like to do is, let me just turn off the simulation here. So what you're going to have inside your level editor here on the right hand side is basically still the skylight, direction light, sky atmosphere, and the volumetric cloud. Okay, those 4 components you still have here. Okay, and you also can have the post-process volume. So what I want you to do is please get rid of all the lighting. So inside here, please, you need to get your skylight. Inside here, you need to get your direction light, just in case if you have it, the sky atmosphere, and you also need to get your volumetric cloud. Okay, please make sure that you click on those things, on those components, and then please delete them. And also your post-process volume, you can please also delete. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I will just delete now all my lights, because I want to start from scratch and show you every single step what you need to do. Rectangle light, I'm going to delete this one, the post-process volume, I'm going to delete the light mass importance volume, the height fog, and also going to delete basically everything. The point lights we have here. And then what I'm going to do is, let me get the world settings, so window, world settings. Okay, so you have this one here also. And then I'm going to search for the force no pre-computed lighting. This is something you don't need to do because you didn't bake yet. So this is something you don't need to do. So I'm going to just enable the pre-computed lighting so that we just disable everything we just compiled. And then I will just build the lighting from scratch. So everything is now everything has now been deleted in terms of baked lighting. So this is how you can delete your baked lighting, but I will just show you later again. So I'm just gonna disable this again, and then I just click back on details. Let me just go from lit to unlit. Okay, so now you can see all your architecture and everything you want to place. So what we did is we built our corridor. Okay. So this is what you have to do. What I did is just an idea. I wanted to have this window part here together with the curtain and all that stuff. And also the wheelchair just like highlighted with the exterior light basically, or it's just a rectangle light, a fake exterior light, just illuminating this part here. So we get this nice and dark, abandoned, spooky vibe. So first of all, everything should be pitch black, and this is perfect. Okay, so you don't have any post-process volume, you don't have any skylight, any directional light, any clouds, you don't have anything. You only have the static meshes, okay? Then everything's gonna be pitch black, and this is perfect. So I will just tell you again, there's something, when you click inside world settings, there's something called force no pre-computed lighting. You need to enable this every single time you want to delete your baked lighting and you just want to rebake. This is something you need to do every single time you want to update your lighting, you want to fix your lighting. Then you click on this, okay, and then he's going to say like, hey, yes, I just want to remove all the existing pre-computed lighting data. Okay, so this is enabled. And then you go to build, and then please build lighting only. And then your pre-computed lighting, just in case if you have it, is or has been deleted. After you did that, you build the lighting only, then you can disable this one. And now you are set. Now you're good to go. Before we implement any type of light for our scene, you need to do a couple of things in order to make this work. So, first of all, when you go to your meshes, okay, here, when you go to your meshes, please click on all the meshes here. Just click and shift click. And then let's do right click. Asset actions, and then you go to selection and programmatics. You need to open this one. And when you're going to search for light map, every single static mesh has a so-called light map resolution. Okay, please type in a value of something like 128. So 128 is more than enough. If I just go to the wheelchair, let me just close this one. So please make sure that you type in 128. Okay, and then you should be good to go. Then you're going to have enough resolution for your light map, UV. Then you can close this one. Let me just check the wheelchair. For the wheelchair, we might just want to have an exception. So let me just search the light map here. Except for the wheelchair, you should open this one separately. And the light map resolution should be much higher. So I use a value of 512. The reason why that is because it's a really high dense mesh. We have a lot of like small details and all that stuff. So this is a complete different mesh, and this is why we need much higher resolution. So 512 is fine. But you also need to make sure that your destination light map index is set to 1 and your light map coordinate index is not 0, but it's 1. Because if this is 0 by default, and it would be 0 by default, you need to switch it to 1. The reason why that is because this mesh is not using only one UV, because we have a lot of different material slots. Okay, and a lot of different material slots means overlapping UVs, and the light map coordinate index on 0 cannot really distinguish between the first material slot, the second material slot. So he's just basically baking everything on top of it, everything on top. So all the material slots are stacked, and this is something we cannot really use. So you need to switch the light map coordinate index from 0 to 1. So then all the material slots are getting enough resolution, and then it can be baked properly without things being pitch black. Okay, so please make sure that you have it like this. Then when we go back to our rectangle light, you need to play with the source height and also the width. Okay, so you need to put this down a little more maybe to get this type of effect, because if you still have this to like set this to 16, then the fog is I mean, we don't really want to have fog here. Okay, so we really want to have this directional detailed effect. So make sure that you put this maybe down to something like 4, even 3 source width. Yeah, let's do 12, and the height, let's do, so let's scale this one up. And let's put this down. And let's see the front view. Let's put it like so. And what we're gonna do is scale this one down a tiny bit. Move it up. And we need to scale it on the x-axis in this case, make it a little fatter. Let's do front view again, so you can see approximately. Let's do perspective. Scale it up and move it down. And now you just replaced your main curtain. Let me just put this guy maybe a little more here. And then when you hit simulate here, click on the 3 dots, click simulate. Now you have an animated curtain. Pretty cool stuff. Just in case if you want to have this one. Okay, so yeah, this is it. This is the course, okay? If I just stop that, I can also just run around here. You need to keep in mind that the character is much bigger. So Grace is definitely smaller. But now you can see, looks pretty cool. So this is how you're gonna bake lights. This is how your corridor is now gonna look inside Unreal Engine. And I think we did a pretty good job. Feel free to place it maybe. What you can do also now, if you want to get a nice shot, a nice screenshot, you can, of course, go here. And 5.7, sorry for that, they changed it all. When you click on perspective here, high resolution screenshot, you can always place your viewport here. And if you want to do different type of field of view, go to the field of view here. And let's put this maybe to 50. Or let's do 60. And then you can also just have a little more focus. You can also go a little more crazy and get a cinematic camera, get a cine camera. Now you have a viewport for the cine camera here. When you click on the camera here, you can also go to perspective and switch the default viewport to cinematic viewport. And then from perspective here on the top, change it to the cine camera. And now you can use the cine camera. Place it maybe here, something like this maybe, and then by default 16:9 digital film is fine. I think you don't really need to change it, it's okay. And for the current focal length, let's do, for interior it's maybe too close up, so let's do 25. Let's do 24. Yeah, let's keep it as it is. 35. And then you can go to focus, click on this sample here, and just, for example, click on the wheelchair. So now the focus is set to the wheelchair. And try out different cameras. So maybe you just want to use the DSLR. I like the DSLR. And put the crop setting maybe to 2.39. Looks pretty cool. And now you have this cinematic vibe, basically. And then you can also just put the focal length to 50 and do the manual focus distance here. Click on this pen again. Sorry. And then click on this wheelchair. And now you can see you have a nice cinematic effect with a nice bokeh here in the background. And yeah. This is basically how you can create a cinematic. Let's do 30. Yeah, maybe something like that. 24 maybe, focal length 24. I think this is better. Yeah, this looks much better. So we can capture more. And then again, you can go here, click on the cine camera actor, and then you can do a high resolution screenshot. Before we do that, one more thing I would like to show you is you can even beef up your scene inside Unreal Engine. So this means when you go to the lighting, post-process, bloom should be enabled, like I said. So maybe let's do 8 even. Yeah, let's do 6. Convolution, intensity. You can go here to the local exposure, the shadow contrast. You can play with the shadow contrast to make this even more cinematic. But maybe let's do 0.9. This is pretty scary. Let's do 8.5. So 0.8 is default. So 0.85 gives you some nice shadows here again. And then shadow threshold. You can also just change the intensity of the shadows. Maybe just a tiny bit. Detail strength, put this to something like 0.9 to make this a little softer, maybe. In this case, this works fine. And color grading, a nice tip here. For the color grading, you can go to the gain of your shadows and beef this one up just to get more detail, just to see a little more in the shadows here. So maybe 1.5. A lot better. Or maybe 1.4. Yes, and then you can also play around with the gamma of the shadow, but in this case I don't need that. Midtones gain is pretty important. The midtones gain, when you can give it a nice color, so maybe something in between green and blue, just a tiny bit. Something like this. Crank this one up. So you have a little more highlights with a nice color. Don't go too crazy here. Something like this maybe. Highlights is not pretty important. Film, slope and toe is pretty important. I don't really need to change the slope, but maybe the toe. Yeah, maybe 0.6. And then one more thing, which is pretty nice, is the ambient occlusion. The ambient occlusion, enable this one and put this to 1. And then feel free to get some ambient occlusion, so you can see the shadows on those tight spots, basically. You can also give it a film grain, so this just means you can give it a little noise. You can see here, if you want that, just a tiny bit maybe. But then you should also increase the grain texel size, maybe to something like 1.3 maybe. But just a tiny, tiny bit. I'm not really a fan of that. And then you can go here, high res screenshot. Let's do screenshot size multiplier and set this to 2 and capture. But maybe you should disable the grain. And then click here. Or just in case if you've been too slow, go to Documents, Unreal Engine, RE9 Care Center, Saved, Screenshots. And get the screenshot here. And this is now your render. Pretty sweet. You can see the resolution here is 4K by 1.6. Looks pretty nice, but if you don't like it, maybe if this is too wide for you, the aspect ratio, and also it's too grainy, please disable the grain intensity. So disable the grain and go back to your camera and feel free to go here and maybe change the crop settings, maybe to something like 0.7. And when you press F10, you have the full viewport. And I believe this looks pretty cool. And another quick tip is when you have the Cine Camera Actor active, you can find a nice spot. So let's say maybe this spot is something you like. Let me press G to hide the gizmo. So maybe this is a nice view. So maybe this is a type of view you like. Then you can press Ctrl 1 and then you can see save the bookmark. So this means when I just go anywhere else, okay, and when you press 1, you will be back. So you can save different bookmarks basically. So maybe another one would be here, for example. Maybe this one is a nice bookmark, then you can just Ctrl 2, and then you can always toggle between different views. So yeah, this is it. I hope you liked the course and you learned a lot. I hope that the RE9 fan art or the recreation of the Care Center from Blender completely integrated into Unreal Engine 5.7 is believable and convincing for you. And yeah, just enjoy all the assets you have now and try to build new levels, try to build better lighting. And yeah, thank you.